Hello again. So, we're working our way through the book of Ephesians, and we're kind of taking a break this week from working through verse by verse and looking at some themes that they have, especially now the last 3 days of this week. Themes as they relate to the overall theme that we're looking at: live as Jesus lived, love as Jesus loved, go as Jesus went. Today, live as Jesus lived. The concept of faith is huge in the book of Ephesians. Paul uses the term 12 times. Now, when he talks about faith, generally he is talking about one of two things. He's talking about the way God loved us, and secondly, the way we love others. In chapter 1, verse 13, he talks about the way God loved us. Then in chapter 2, verse 8, God saved you by his grace when you believed. The first element of faith is saving faith. It's that faith when we come to the Lord and say, yes, not only do I believe in you, but I want to be on your side. I want to join you. I want to live like you lived. Saving faith starts everything. But for Paul, that's not where it ends. Not only does faith bring us into a relationship with the Lord Jesus, but it keeps us there. It allows us to continue in that relationship. Chapter 3, verse 12, because of Christ and our faith in him, we can now come boldly and confidently into God's presence. And then just a few verses later, in verse 17, then Christ will make his home in your hearts as you trust in him. Your roots will grow down into God's love and keep you strong. Here in these verses, we see how faith is a necessary part of continuing to keep that relationship with the Lord strong and vital. Now, our faith joins us to a particular community. So in chapter 4, verse 13, we read this. This will continue until we all come to such unity in the faith and knowledge of God's Son that we will be mature in the Lord, measuring up to the full and complete standard of Christ. Our faith binds us together with Christ, helps us to stay strong in him. We become part of a community of faith. Now, the very last two verses of the book of Ephesians are very interesting. I had never noticed this before preparing for today. Chapter 6, verse 23. Peace be with you, dear brothers and sisters, and may God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ give you love with faithfulness. Now I'm reading here from the New Living Translation. I looked up and every other translation says, may Jesus Christ give you love with faith. I like the New Living Translation. I really do here. It points at a reality that the noun pistis in Greek can be translated either faith or faithfulness. And I like that Paul's parting prayer for the Ephesian church is that they gather love with faithfulness in following the Lord. faithfulness is also a necessary part of sticking with it, of growing in faith, of being that community. Go and live like Jesus lived. Live in faith, a faith that brings you into a relationship with him, a faith that keeps you in a relationship with him, a faith that defines the community that we're in, and a faith that leads us on to fidelity, faithfulness. Go live like Jesus lived. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about loving like Jesus loved. See you tomorrow.